father, a brother and sister. My dad is also my grandfather and my brother all in the same time. Because I live down in a small town down there, almost in Missouri, so I'm actually dating outside the family because my wife is not actually related to me over there. And stuff like that. Unfortunately, I did have a friend that came out of Missouri, so I asked her one time. I said, if you moved out of Missouri, come up to Iowa, and you guys ended up divorced one day, are you still brother and sister? And she goes, no, we're from St. Louis. We're the sophisticated Missourians. Funny part of it was, they actually did end up divorced a few years later. And so I turned around and asked her again. I said, so are you still brother and sister? And she goes, oh, shut up. And everything. But along with that, I actually do hang out with a bunch of the Amish folks, too. I don't know if you guys don't have very many of the Amish folks up here, so you don't get to see the really oddball ones like I do. We got one down there. He's called Oz. And I couldn't figure out why they called him Oz or nothing like that until I met him one night. And I was standing on his neighbor's Amish farm after dark, and I realized that's kind of hard to do, standing on an Amish farm after dark, but they do have lights. They're just run by a candle. Anyway, so me and the neighbor standing there talking, and all of a sudden, you know, when somebody else just comes up in there and they did not make a sound, but you could just feel somebody else came into the area. And so I'm wanting to turn and look, but I don't want to show him that I might be jumpy or scared that somebody else just walked up into the room. So I sat there and I kind of turn around and I just go, what the hell? Because all I seen was the biggest old cow eyes I ever seen on anybody, glowing in the dark like you'd see on an alien. And the only thing that comes out of Oz's mouth right after that, he goes, yep, when your eyeballs are this big, you don't need a flashlight. A few days later, he introduced me to my kid, and to his kids. Obviously, the milkman did not help him out on them at all. They were definitely his kids, because they had just the biggest eyes. So then a few days later, I met his wife, and I was joking around with her, and I said, love must be blind. Turns out she is blind. And I'm still waiting for the day, but I haven't asked her. I'm just kind of curious. I'm going to push this envelope just a little bit with you guys. I'm just wondering that when she pushes in on them eyeballs, does something else grow or not? That's a little offensive, but I don't care. And well, my wife's sitting back there one time, and she decided to tell me on the first night I went out and started doing some of this stuff. She goes, when I used to work at, I call it Wrinkle City, and I apologize for that, but I don't know what else to call them, where the old folks go. Or the place where you put them before they die, you know, before they go on the ground. And she said she was a CNA or whatever that thing is. And I said, what does that happen to be anyway? Because I am the total redneck. She goes, well, I'm a glorified enema giver. And being the redneck I am, I automatically ask, what does that mean? She goes, how do you do that? She goes, well, you stick a hose up their backside, you start pumping them full of water. Sometimes you dig in with a couple of fingers because you got to help it out and get stuff to move. And so she goes, so I was going in there, and I was digging away at this one lady, and she goes, because I didn't think it was going very well. She goes, so I went back for the second time. She goes, all of a sudden, it felt clean. So she goes, I'm feeling around in there, and it's all opened up and stuff like that. I just can't figure it out. Pretty soon, the little old lady just starts moaning. Oh. She goes, so I'm like, oh no. She goes, I had to look down. She goes, I hit the wrong hole. My only question to my wife was, did you finish her off? Because that's probably the best she's had in a while. You know, I still haven't got the answer yet. I think she refused to do that. And I do come from a big family. There's a bunch of us there. We are very dysfunctional, but if you got any brothers and sisters, you're going to be dysfunctional no matter what and everything. One day my mom decided to tell me, she's what, 60-some years old plus. I didn't realize a lady that old kind of thinks she's sexy at times. So she's standing there telling me, and she's like, God, I just look so good for my age and everything. The only thing I could think of after I go, so Mom, how does that work with 2 fried eggs hanging off of a barn nail? I know, don't get me wrong, I love my mom and all. But then I was telling her one day, I said, I'm going to leave in my will here when I die. I said, I'm going to donate my body to a necrophiliac. And she goes, why? I said, I've had so much fun with it throughout my life, it's about time somebody else has fun. And she just stood there with this blank look on her face going, that's not right. And I'm going, so what? If you believe in a spirit, my body's no longer there. Somebody else is just violating me, not me. And everything. But I push this limit a little bit more, I will start to offend you guys a little bit and everything. But the other night, my daughter came in to me. I've always got a morbid sense of curiosity of stuff because I self-feed for a living too. Drive around the countryside and all these weird thoughts come through my head. And I've always wondered, and I'll try to do this without offending, that when these younger ladies are wearing these strings up the backside that they all wear, they want to show and stuff like that, I've always wondered, when they break wind, does it actually split and become two farts? And so I've just been thinking about that. Well, the other night my daughter comes in the house and goes, guess what, Dad? When you do fart, they do become two. So at least now I know the answer. That's about all I got for you guys tonight because the rest gets dirtier. I'm not sure everybody can handle my dirtiness. But I am redneck, and I live down, like I said, down there, and I'm all inbred. And that explains why I am the way that I am. But I'll leave you with one other thing. I not only do that, but I also work in a haunted barn once in a while. And I got all kinds of lines, you know. Yeah, here I stand up in front of you and try to make you laugh and stuff like that. So imagine me in a haunted barn dancing around going, boo, I scared you, didn't I? So I got to make up routines. And my biggest routine is they come down in this pitch black dark and I go, hey, reach out and feel for the green doorknob. Well, I've done that. By the time they reach for it and they say, I can't see it, I say, well, I painted it black just so you can see it. And they go, how am I going to see black in the dark? I repeat back, don't worry, I'm going to make it shock you just a little bit so you pee your pants and then you'll know where it's at. Well, that's all going fine, and I've done that for 15 years and never had anybody really comment about it. And, well, this last fall, this blonde girl comes in about the age of 24, and I'm going through the routine and telling her that. About all of a sudden, she reaches out for it. She just dead stops in her tracks. And she goes, I just got to know, this sure sounds like a reason for me to grab a hold of some man's unit. And I go, can't you tell the difference? And she goes, I fell for that once already, and I'm not doing it again. I even made you laugh on that one. Because when I asked her that, she goes, I am a true blonde through and through. Thank you. I'm Redneck.